They used to laugh at me. My own family, I can still hear it, my brother's voice bouncing off the living room walls, sharp and cruel, while the little pieces of my future lay scattered across the hardwood floor. He crushed one of my business cards beneath his shoe like it was trash. And for years, I let them believe I was nothing, but what none of them knew was that I was quietly building an empire in the shadows. That night, the celebration was for him. Adrian, my older brother. The golden child. He had just landed a big title at Meridian Technologies, Executive Vice President. My parents beamed at him as though he'd been crowned king of the world. Meanwhile, I sat at the table in silence. My card stuffed back into my pocket. Strategic consultant. That's what I'd printed on them. To Adrian, it meant unemployed. To my parents, it meant failure. Still chasing that little project of yours? My mother asked, carrying in a tray of hors d'oeuvres. She said it sweetly, but I knew what it meant. When are you going to grow up? Adrian leaned back in our father's leather chair, flashing the Rolex they'd given him for his new job. Face it, Maya, he said. Consulting is just a fancy way of saying you don't have a real career. I wanted to laugh. Because just hours before dinner, I had signed papers that gave me controlling ownership of Meridian Technologies, the very company that had just hired my brother, and no one at that table had a clue. For 3 years, they thought I was barely surviving, taking scraps of freelance work, clinging to some impossible dream. But behind the curtain, I had turned a modest inheritance from my grandmother into Aurora Holdings, a quiet, faceless investment company. Every acquisition, every move, made in silence. By the time Adrian was bragging about his glossy new business cards, Aurora owned over a dozen tech companies. And Meridian was next. I sipped my wine and asked him casually, when do you start? Monday, he smirked, waving those thick gold-embossed cards. Unlike some people, I have a real title. My father clapped him on the back. Finally, a Rivera making headlines. I forced a smile. Headlines were coming, all right, just not the ones they expected. That Monday, Adrian started into Meridian's headquarters like he owned the place. He had no idea who really did. Meanwhile, I pulled up to the building in a car so modest no one gave it a second glance. Security, however, straightened the moment I walked through the doors. They'd been briefed. 9:55 a.m., I stood behind the curtain of the auditorium, listening to 500 employees buzz with excitement. On stage, my brother was in the front row, showing off to our parents, already demanding coffee runs from his new assistant. My phone buzzed. An email forwarded to me. As your new EVP, I promise to revolutionize Meridian Technologies. Change starts today. Adrian had sent it to the entire company. I nearly laughed. He was right about one thing, change was coming. Just, not the way he imagined. At exactly 10 o'clock, Meridian's CEO stepped up to the podium. Good morning. Today I am honored to introduce the new majority owner of Meridian Technologies. The crowd held its breath. Adrian leaned forward, expecting some gray-haired billionaire. Please welcome, Maya Rivera. The silence was electric. I stepped out from behind the curtain, and in that instant, my brother's coffee mug slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. Our parents' faces, frozen between pride, horror, and disbelief. I took the stage. For those who don't know me, I'm the founder of Aurora Holdings. As of last week, we own 67% of Meridian Technologies. Phones came out. Whispers spread like wildfire, and in the front row, Adrian's face turned white. Some of you, I continued, may have received an email this morning about transformative leadership. A ripple of laughter passed through the room. Adrian sank lower in his chair. That transformation begins now, I said, clicking to the first slide, an organizational chart with one glaring change. Effective immediately, the position of Executive Vice President has been eliminated. Adrian shot to his feet. You can't do this, I am the EVP. Not anymore, I replied calmly. Though I hear the IT department is hiring. You did take one coding course in college, didn't you? Gasps filled the room. My father stood, red-faced. Maya, this is family business, security, I said, without looking away from my brother. Please escort any non-employees from this meeting. The guards moved forward. My brother's protests echoed in the silence. My mother's voice broke. Maya, how could you humiliate him like this? The same way you humiliated me, I answered, locking eyes with her. By deciding I was worthless because I didn't fit your definition of success. And for the first time, my voice carried power they couldn't ignore. In the weeks that followed, Meridian thrived. Without the old hierarchy dragging it down, innovation flourished. The stock price surged. Employees were energized. My family, on the other hand, unraveled. Adrian slunk around on LinkedIn, posting vague updates about exploring new opportunities. My father alternated between angry voicemails and fake negotiations. My mother sent tearful texts about loyalty and blood, but the truth? They weren't mourning me. They were mourning their illusion of superiority. A month later, I stood on a stage again, this time at my old business school, giving a keynote about redefining success. In my pocket, I carried one of Adrian's abandoned business cards, bent and useless, and I realized, success isn't about titles, or flashy watches, or applause from people who never believed in you. It's about owning your choices. Owning your vision. And, if you're patient enough, one day, owning the company everyone thought you'd never be good enough for. So tell me, if you were in my place, would you have done the same? Drop your thoughts below. And if you've ever been underestimated, share your story. I promise, someone out there needs to hear it.